Hi, this is Dorothy Kilty of Raccoon Alley Creations, and I just want to show you something that I did. This is for Treasure Books Challenge, and so first of all, I want to show you what it is and then show you how to make it. This is so cool, I think. So here we go. This would be tucked into a pocket or something on a page, or you could just glue it onto a page. And then what happens is that when you open it up, inside, can you see this? You pop out. I've got a Japanese scene inside. I wanted this to be the cover to go with it, but not really tell you what's going to be inside of it, so that it would be a surprise. Okay, so it pops up, and can you see that? We have on both insides, we have the top and the bottom, we have the wonderful lady in the center, and then I also have on these three sides some pictures and stuff. Now, I've been, trying to figure out, well, obviously I watch directions and I followed the directions, but also I wanted to see if I could find the easiest way for me to do it. Okay, so here's what I get. Now, one thing that I'm using digitals from DearJulieJulie for this. And I've kind of started cutting them to size so you could see. Now, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take a paper bag like this, and see, this is the side that you're going to be using. And this, so you're going to take and just cut right along the edge of this, okay? And actually, this is a small lunch bag, and I would go with a bigger bag. I think this is going to be harder to do. But anyway, so now when you turn this over, this could be glued down on the page. And when you open this up, you have that pocket, kind of a hidden pocket to use. Now, so here we have this. And like I said, I've kind of chosen my papers and sized them. Now, one of the things that the video that I saw did is she did not put things across the fold. She said it just got to be too much, so she would cut them to shape. And I think that can be a good idea, especially if you're using heavy photocopy paper. If you happen to have some really lightweight paper that you can print on, that would make it easier. Now, if I was planning, when I printed this, if I was planning on this, I might have printed this one on photo paper, because that would really make the colors pop. So I cut it to size, and the way you cut it to size is just use the bottom to start with. Take the bottom, and you can, mark on your page. Just put the bag over it to see what the design is going to look like, how you're going to choose. And then mark the size. And then when you put it inside, you may need to trim it a tiny bit, depending on how thick the bag was and everything, but it'll go in there just fine. Huh, mine has a peekaboo hole in it. Okay, so now this just fits in snugly to the bottom. So I am going to glue it down, lots of glue. And what I discovered is that you want to take it and put this on the bottom, fit it down to the edge where it's going to go, and then shape it, okay? So now we have the bottom in place. That's all you need to do for the bottom. For the sides, what I like to do is I like to make my side hang over the edge a little bit. It reinforces the top, and it gives a little border on the top for when you put your edge in. So what I do is I take and cut it to the size of the width of the bag, or the height here of this thing. So I cut it to that height, and then figure out where I want the design. So I want this flower to show up on the inside, and then fold it over. Now in this case, this was the edge of the paper, and so I kind of figured out how big I wanted the edge, and I did it backwards, but it still works fine. So, and then for the other side, I have this postcard, and so I haven't figured out where the border is going to be. I wanted to do that on video. So we're going to take and add the glue to this. Now, one of the things that I did on the first one, I did, and I figured it out, so it was fine, but I actually put the bottom one in upside down from the way I wanted it. So do be aware of the side that's going to be the bottom of the bag and the top of the bag. You may not want to have much of a seam or anything on the top. In this case, the seam is on the top, and I'm going with it. So now I'm just fiddling with this to get it all the way down to the bottom. Ooh, I'm not there. Whoops. Sorry, I'm talking too much, and so it's sticking. So we're going to go with that. It should have gone down a tiny bit more. Okay? So now we're going to just put some glue along this edge. And that's going to reinforce the top edge. And there we go. Okay? Now, this one over here, again, we're going to start out by putting it down there. Another good idea, and I don't think you have to do it before you start gluing it in, but is to ink all these corners. Kind of gives it some distressing, and it looks pretty. So, like I said, it may be easier to do this before you start gluing in. On the other one I did, I actually used kind of a blue color because it went with the pages I was putting on the inside. But you want to ink all the edges, okay? Now, if you're going to just put things here and not cover up the fold, then you want to ink these folds too, so that they kind of disappear, especially if you ink the edge of your paper. And I just want to take a second and point out to you that the way this folds is you have a fold here, you have a fold halfway across here, and then you have these triangular folds in the center. And the reason I'm pointing that out to you is because we're going to use those folds when we do the ends. Okay, so now we have this postcard, and I can decorate it some more by putting a design on. I haven't decided if I'm going to do that or not. I do like postcards all by themselves, so you don't need it. This is not something that is really a good journaling per se, the way it is. However, if you wanted, or if the person who gets the journal that it's in wants it, they could put some, a card and stuff inside, kind of hidden, and you could also send one along with them, with matching papers, in case they wanted to do that. And it would be, a nice little hidden journaling spot. Okay, so we're going to get this down as far as you can. You kind of can't see those. And then if you just take on the inside and rub it, you're going in. Now, how much of an edge do we want on this? Well, I'm going to make a little bit bigger edge, because this is the side with the folds, and I just want to give myself a little bit more room for error there, okay? We're going to glue this down, okay? and fold it, okay, and glue it down. So now we've got our reinforced edge at the top of both the sides. Okay, now we're going to look at what we're going to put on the inside. And what I decided to do is that on the bottom, I'm going to have this flower, it's one of the beautiful red poppies, and on the top, I'll have this tree, okay? So I've cut these to the width of it, but I haven't cut them off the top, just like the other side that I did. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna kind of mark with a fold where that top edge will be, okay? And the reason is because I'm gonna go ahead and start folding this, okay? You've got a fold right across here and one up here. So we're gonna fold this up about halfway and make this fold in the paper, and then make a fold again about halfway on this, okay? So now we have this fold, and now we've got the two edge folds. And so what I'm doing is I'm looking at this point where this comes together, and this point, and I'm folding it to here, and I'm folding it to here. Now that we've done this, got our folds in place, we're going to take a look at which direction they're going to go, okay? So these two we want to go out, and this one we want to go out, and this one, and this one. So these two we want to go out in the bag, this one we want to go out, and this one we want to go in, because that's the way the bag's going to fold. So I'm going to fold it on the other side so it goes in. So now, when you take and you glue this in place with the folds there, they should meet up about where these folds are, and make it easier to go. So let's go ahead and glue this in. We'll start with the bottom. Now again, I've made it so it sticks over the top, but I sort of have a fold about where that is. And then the way I make sure it goes all the way to the top is that I just run a bead of glue along this top. Whoops, I'm on the wrong side. I run a bead of glue along this top edge right here. Okay, I hope you can see that. Okay, so now we're going to put this in. We want to get it to the bottom and to the sides as much as we can, because we've kind of made that fold, those folds where we think they're going to go, okay? And now I'm going to cut this off, and I'm allowing about 1/2 inch on these, or 3/8 or something, okay? We'll go ahead and we put this in and fold it down. Now you'll notice that that was a sloppy cut, but it's going to be covered up with the piece you put on the end here, okay? And so now this tree, when we look in, we want the tree to be, the ground is down here, and this is up here. It wouldn't have, I mean, do whatever you want as far as the pictures and stuff you're putting on here, and everything. In some ways, you're just trying to make it pretty. So once again, I'm going to turn this around this way, and we're going to make the folds. So you've got, put this kind of down here, and put this and kind of fold this so we know about where it is. Okay, so now we're going to fold. On this case, we have the fold on the left side and going up the center. So we're going to take this. I've got a little fold here, which is where I said the top was. So we're going to take this and fold it up to there, and we need 1/2 a fold, okay? And now we need a fold here. So once again, we'll fold it in half, and we'll fold from this point up to, you can go all the way up, it doesn't matter. Okay, and now we want, these two are going to go in, so let's do, I'm looking at this point right here, which is where the two folds come together. You know, I'm going to go ahead and ink those here and here. Okay, that's where the two folds come together. So I want to fold from there to the point. So here we have it, down to the point. Like that. And now this one is going to be the same way. Okay, so from that point down to the corner. Okay, and there's our fold. Okay, now we're going to look at this. This is going to go on the inside. So these two are going to need to go out, up at the top, and this one goes out. And this fold, did it on the wrong side. This fold here is going to need to go in. So out, out, and in. Okay? So now we can glue this down here. And once again, I'll put a bead of, well, let me put the glue here. So we'll put the glue on the bottom. The triangular fold is on the bottom of it, like that. And up here. And we'll run a bead of glue along the inside edge of the bag right here. This is a super thin bag, and so by doing this, I'm also reinforcing the bag. I can kind of sing this all by itself being sent to someone. Maybe tuck a gift card in there or something. I think that would rather be fun, okay? Let's see if we're down all the way or as close as we can get. Okay, now you might notice I did a little bit of a sloppy job with my cutting or something. I have space over here on the side. I'm not going to worry about that other than the fact that these corners are a little weaker now. And so in this case, I'm going to take some washi tape and run around these corners. I think I should have picked a heavier bag. And it doesn't have to be a brown paper bag, a craft paper bag. This could be a gift bag that already has a decoration on it, and you could just put your decorations on the inside and possibly even reattach the straps to the top of it, and that would be your cover. So let me think about this. Maybe what I'll do instead of putting washi here is just make this be a little longer. Let's see, I think I've already got it cut. That's the top. No, I don't. So I was going to use these strips on the sides. So this is one of DearJulie's collage pages. I was going to use that on this side, was I? No, I was going to use this. But it does reach around a little bit. This is a very thin, flimsy paper. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on here. The fact that it's the fact that it's a thin paper means that it'll fold better, and this has a fold in the center here. And we're also going to, let me just see if I can get this to fit right. fold it to fit right. It doesn't quite want to do this. I really did not make this long enough. Let me see if this will do. No. It's going to have to go on like this. Okay, so I am going to use washi tape on those corners. This one, it's not going to show very much. This one, the colors are kind of subtle, so I like that. I like that for this. So let me get the, here we go. This is kind of old washi tape, I think, so it tears pretty easy. I accidentally bought small Yoo-hoos instead of bigger one. I'm going to run this along the edge here. Okay, and then I will figure out about how big I want it. Now, because there's a fold and because I want it to be kind of centered, I'm going to fold this back on itself this way, not the side with the glue on it, okay? To give myself a fold to help mark it. And then let's put it down here. Okay, that will help reinforce the corners. So let me go ahead and do that. This time I'm going to cut it a little bit bigger because that one kind of the way it tore. And of course this one tears fine since I allowed extra space for it. Okay, we'll put some glue here and here. And we'll fold the right sides together in half to get our halfway mark. I do this because I really have trouble, or I've had trouble in the past, getting this on crooked, and having a line to line it up with does help. Okay, so there we go. And now we're going to cut this corner off. And this one. I didn't have to do this at the last bag, but like I said, it was a bigger bag, or a heavier bag. It was a bigger bag too, but it was a heavier bag. So I think this is a good idea on this one. And I'm also going to reinforce these 4 bottom edges. Hope I have enough of this. Okay. This along this edge and along this edge. And in some ways, the edges of this are going to be covered up, so if it's crooked, it's not going to be really important. Okay, I am finishing that fold in the center by putting it on my chin, reaching up to my face and just putting it on my chin since I don't have 3 hands. Okay, let's get another one. It's always so interesting to pull the washi out and then make sure that you don't have, it doesn't glue to itself. Okay, so once again, I'm folding it in half and touching it to my chin to give me a little bit of a line going all the way across. And I'm just make my chin a little gluey. You may not want to do that. You may have another way that you have figured out that's better. Maybe you should share it with me. Okay, here we go. Washi is thin, so it shouldn't interfere very much with me folding this, because these are all going to, remember, this is going to fold down into a relatively flat pocket when we're done. Okay, let's take this. There we go. Okay, glue stick along this edge and along this edge. Hold it over. Okay, let's get this last one on there. Because I'm making this for myself, and I'm definitely going to glue it down to a page somewhere, somehow, sometime. Okay, once again, we fold it. This is shorter, so I can use my finger to get to the center. There we go. Okay, let me put the top on my glue stick. And then let's there we go. This isn't sticking real well. So you also can go inside the bag and rub your fingers along the inside. But I think that having this to reinforce these edges is going to be a good idea in this bag. And I think this is the last time I'll use this small of a bag. Okay, so now you can see we want to reinforce these folds that we have on the inside and stuff too. And before we continue, so we'll go ahead and fold it, okay, and then fold it down like that, okay? We need to make sure that these folds stay trained as we add thicknesses to it, okay? So now we've got the 3 sides covered. Let me do these last 2 with washi. So what I'm going to do on the very top of this is I'll do a collage, and I may use like some sort of a fastener to hold it closed, since it's kind of a hidden spot, hidden pocket in a way. It's not obvious from the get-go that it's going to open up into this awesome pocket. We'll want to do it in such a way that if I had done this before I started gluing the insides on, I would have tucked this over the edge to reinforce. I may do it anyway. Okay, oops, let's do this again. Give us a line to line up the corners with. Okay, put this here, this here. Now this corner is tearing just a little bit, so I'm going to give it just a little bit of a reinforcement over the edge. Okay, you really can hardly see it on the top, and as a matter of fact, I think I'll do it to this corner too, just to make sure that we don't get a problem in the future. Okay, let's cut this one off. Took a little bit of the bag there. That was not a good idea. Don't be sloppy with your cutting like I am. I'm just going to run a little bit of the washi tape right over here to reinforce it. Okay. All right, now we're ready to do these sides and the side that's folded in. We're not going to do, so we've got the top and the bottom and this side. We won't do this side yet, okay? So, this side is this way. And I am going to fold it over at the bottom, but not at the top. I'm going to just cut this a tiny bit here. Okay? And now I'm going to use the Fabri-Tac glue to glue this on, because I really want it to stay. Okay, again, this is a very thin paper, so it should be able to help do that fold nicely. And you can see how thin it is because the design is coming through so clearly. Okay, make sure we get along the edge. And we'll run a bead along the edge here. And along the edge here. Okay. Fold this over. Get it straight. Come on, Dorothy. Now I'm going to more worry about the straightness of this edge up here than the bottom edge, okay? And now we're going to, we'll seal this, and now we'll fold this once again. We are reinforcing and training the paper to fold at the folds, okay? So there we have that. Now let's get this one, and this will be the same as the other way, except that we're not going to go over the top. So I folded this up to give myself a marker, and now I'm just cutting straight across. Now on the bottom, we need to figure out where that fold is, okay? So it's right there. And the, whoops, and the halfway fold is right on this side, right there. So we're just lining up the edge of this fold with that. So now we've got this fold that goes in, and we have to do the corner folds again. So from this joining mark to the corner, so from the mark where the point where these two come together to the corner, we'll just fold it. I may have put this slightly off, but I think it'll be fine. Okay? And so this is just one of Dear Julie's collage pages. I really love them. I want to make sure that I get the paper in the folds here and around the edges. And then we'll fill in a little bit here. Okay, and now we're going to place it, trying to place this fold point where everything meets, okay? So we've trained the paper a little bit to fold at that point. And now we need to do the same thing for this end. And once again, we'll just use okay, we'll use this, like this. We'll mark where the top goes. Actually, you know what? I like her. Let's start with her. So I like this picture with this girl right here. And frankly, if that goes over the edge on the bottom, I'm fine with that. Okay, so now let's cut this right below the fold. Okay, and now once again, we're going to center this, but we want to make sure that it lines up there. And now we need to figure out where this fold is going to be. So we have a fold on the bag right there. So we're going to fold this right next to that. Okay, and now we have, when we fold this down and we fold this down, we have the point where those are going to meet. Now, let's figure out where the bottom is going to be. And the reason I decided I didn't want to have it fold over the edge is just very simply because folding those corners is much easier if you have a corner to fold through, not something that wraps over the edge where you don't know where it is. Okay, so we're going to go down to here and do this one over here. I hope you don't mind the repetition of some of the things I'm doing. This one goes in, so these need to go in. This one here goes out. So this needs to go out. And then this one goes in. So we'll reinforce those. I'm using my fingernails, but it might be a good idea to use a bone folder here to do that. Here we go. Let's use a bone folder. Okay, and this one, and this one. And this one. Okay, so now you've got your edges all properly trained. Okay, so we'll put glue. I'm gonna put glue along here, along the edge. I don't glue straight. If you're worried about your glue not getting to the edges and holding the edges well enough, then the trick to that is just to take your finger or a wooden something and just pull it out to the edge. Okay? You know, a wooden dowel, not a dowel. You know those flat wooden boards that we used to make things with when we were kids. Okay? Now we're trying to line up the folds with the corners, with where the corners are. Okay? And now we're going to take and train it once again to the fold. We've already got the folds there, so it kind of wants to do it. So now it folds down flat. We have, when we open it up, we've got all sides covered except for the top. Now on the top, you silly, we'll give you some. On the top, what I want to do is to do a collage. So this piece has been cut the size of the top, okay? You also may want to put a tab here to open it up, just to let people know that they should open it up. So we can do that now, or we can do it afterwards. Okay, this is going to go here. I'm going to take some clips and just hold this together. These clips are for, they're vintage hemming clips. When you hem skirts or pants or something, there's inches marked on it, 1/2 inches, 1/4 inches, so you can make sure that the hem is even all the way around. But I just like to use it to hold things together. Okay, so now we want to do a collage on here. So I've got a bunch of scraps and things up here that I'm going to pull some things off of. I kind of like to look at the words on some of these dictionary or other sheets to see what it is. So if we put that one there, we'll probably tear some of these off, but for right now, they're fine. We have some music paper here. Let's put the music paper, let's put the music paper along the side. I kind of like, I look at these as lines. These are lines, and putting some vertical lines going up and down with the horizontal lines going across, I think that helps add interest. Okay, so now we can put this here, and now across the top here, I'm just approximating right now. Maybe we want to come down a little bit on that. What's a good? I want a little bit of contrast. But I also like to use vintage papers. I have these old vintage bridge scorecards. Just love them. So these can go across here. Let's tear this. I like torn edges. Okay, this can go here. This can go here. They're all kind of the same color, aren't they? Where is something else that has a different color? Let's get the music paper off. And here's a piece of paper that I was playing with. Let's do this one. So we'll tear this here. It's got some chevrons I glued on one of the videos that I was making, so that's fine. Okay, so we have those. We have this, and we have this. Okay, I think that might be an interesting background. And that's all we're doing right now is creating a background. Okay, so I'm going to ink the edges. I'm going to ink all the edges, even though I'm probably going to tear them off some more or cut them or something to get them more to the size I want. Let's see. Actually, that's pretty close. Okay, if we take this, let's see, this is going to go here. I think we'll do it like that. Okay, tear this off. Now, the edges over here, I can ink after they're glued on, so they're not as much of a problem. It's this edge, this fun edge, that we want to have inked to provide some contrast and things. So now that'll go there, and this one here will go, I think we'll put it like that. Okay, let's tear this off. I'm tearing it so that the duty stays there. I just kind of enjoy those these words. And I like the fact that this is a book about using words. And so what they do is they have a main word, and then they give you different definitions and things of them. So I think it's super fun. Okay, let's get this glued on. So those chevrons were punched out of an edge punch and laying around, and I just couldn't see any reason not to use them to some degree. So I okay, now here's a question. There's actually a number there. Let's orient that up. Let me tear this edge off. I'm trying not to take too much off. I was going to cut it off, but when it was hanging over the edge. Okay, now let's do this one. I don't mind a little bit of that background picture shows, but, let's do it like this. And then this one now, would be upside down. Okay, let's do... let's do, we'll go ahead and take that off. Okay, now let's do it like this. See, I want a different edge, different shaped edge. I think it gives the background more interest. And so if we go like, let's see, let's put it like this. And then this can go over like this. Yeah, I think that'll do. Okay, so we'll go along this edge. Now, I have not yet picked out a focal point for this collage. So we've got the backgrounds and we've inked it and used lots of different papers and things. But what are we going to do for the focal point? Okay, there we go, like that. Here's this. Okay, we'll go along this edge. Okay, and then I'm going to run a bead of glue right along the edge here and along the top edge here because I ran the glue on this side because I know it's going to go like over this, like that. Okay. Okay, we'll let that dry for a little bit. Now let's think about the focal point for this. I have so many, Julie's kit was just absolutely full of all kinds of fabulous pictures. So do we want to, I think we like that one right there. Now, I'm a terrible fussy cutter. I'm going to start with this, and then, honestly, there's a couple of things. If you get it kind of close to the picture, okay, let's take a look at this. I'm going to go ahead and cut off the bottom of this now. I want to see where, when I orient it, I want to have an idea of okay. I want to get this fairly close to the bottom here. I have this fabric butterfly that I cut out that I'm thinking about using, fussy cut out of some, or what else could I use? You know, one of the things that I could do is, no, change my mind. I'm just quickly going through some things I have up here on my desk put aside to see if there's something that just grabs me. Okay. So these are not poppies, and the rest of it is poppies, but I don't have any poppies. So, but I do have these pansies, and I have a really pretty pink pansy here. See if I can get these out. Okay, so what if I did a little, you know, just a little collection of pansies. as my focal point. And then this purple. Okay, I think that that's going to be pretty. What I'm going to do is I'm untwisting these. Okay, now I'm going to very, very gently pull this off. I want the leaf, but I want it to lay flat, so I'm going to pull off the wire that's stuck to the back of it. Gives me a little bit more freedom on where I put it, I think. And also, okay, so one of these here, one of these here, and I want this pink one at the bottom, and then maybe this one like this, and this like that. How about that? I like it. Okay, so now I often, when I'm doing collages, will take a picture of it so I remember where things are situated. But this one is pretty straightforward, so I'm just going to go ahead and glue it down. And if they're not in the exact same place, it'll be fine. So there we go. Take this one. This one like that. Okay, whoops. Okay, and now we want to have this one at the top. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's see, I think I'll move it over this way just a little bit. Okay, we'll have this one in the second place. Like this. Glue. And last but not least is, whoops, I had the wrong side up. What do you think about that? It's prettier this way. Okay. Last but not least is this one. Okay. And now let me finish trimming this up. I think this glue on this piece is dried now. I'm going to have to cut through some. Okay. And we'll ink all the edges. Aside. I thought about putting this, still putting this butterfly on, but I don't think I'm going to. And I think we're going to call that done. Now, all we need to do is get our bag back, take the clips off. Now, I want this glued down really well, okay? My hands are cramping up again a little bit. Need to go rest some and put my arthritis gloves on. And okay. Now I want to make sure once again that I know which is up. There we go. And there we go. And that's how you do it. I think this is a really cool project. It's, you know, It's got everything. It's got a hidden pocket. Oh. This will be our tab. I'm going to put the tab down here, I think. So we're going to fold it over. With batiks, I have a hard time sometimes telling which side is which, but the side I had up a minute ago is a little bit, the edges aren't quite as sharp. And so that's how I know that this batik is this. I have used up all this batik, and I just love it. So, oh well, let's open this up. This is going to be our tab. Okay. Now I'm going to leave it open to dry. Okay, thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.